it's just like me and you right now. I'm gonna give everyone some time to roll on. So what's going on? I know today's a weird day. It's Memorial Day, so everyone's probably busy with their families, doing their thing. That's why I wanted to do a later live. So yes, what's going on? Hi, it looks like people are starting to jump on slowly. I know I'm infamous for being late, or at least last week when my hair was kind of, I still need to go back and get it fixed because like we weren't supposed to go that dark, light with my hair. It was going more for a biolage look. What's up? Hey. So I mean, if today's more intimate, like I could care less. Like we'll just talk and like have a conversation. It's really rare that the lives are this small, but hey, you know, it's Memorial Day and I announced it kind of late. Like I forgot I was doing a live today because I've been so busy in my new schedule and my new life and my new timeline that like it slipped my mind. And then I was on the phone with a friend and I'm like, oh my God, I have a live at 9:30 tonight. Like I need to go. And she's like, oh, tonight? Like, aren't you off? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Well, I mean, I was off, like I took the day off, but obviously the live was scheduled. So tell me, what's going on? Hi, Jamal, what's going on? How is everyone? Like I said, it looks like it's going to be a more intimate group, but that's fine. Depending on, I don't know how late I'm going to go. Hi, Johanna, how are you? Great to see you. Saludos. Bienvenido, right? Some people don't know I speak Spanish, but I'm not as fluent as I used to be. Like, no, actually I am as fluent as I used to be. It's right, like it's all what we think. So right now I'm like in a chill mode. It's just that like the last 2 weeks have been so insane for me. Like I'm taking courses at a university. I'm in a course right now for entrepreneurs that do what I do. And that's gonna only intensify this week. And I think I might continue with it because I'm a person that does better in like a group setting and I wanna like scale up my business, obviously do other things. So that's been keeping me real busy. I just have a million things going on right now. And then I'm also like trying to find time to like in between all that, right? To work out. I'm doing a restarted 75 hard and I'm in between all that, I'm finding time to work out, you know, to do the homework that both of the course, like one's like a school course, like a digital marketing course. The other one's like a business course, but it's like from an entrepreneur. It's not from like a university. And I'm like having to do homework for both things. It's been interesting. So what's going on? I mean, like I said, like it doesn't matter. I know some of you are like, sometimes like if there's a smaller group, I've noticed some people are more shy to ask things. But we can talk about literally anything. I mean, the benefit to that is that you can get your question answered, right? So that's not always a guarantee on lives, and I'm guessing we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I've had a lot going on. So lives will still happen. Are you guys liking the later time, like the 9:30, or is it too late? Maybe I'll try for 9 o'clock. It just felt like 8 was too early. Didn't seem like a lot of people were coming on at that time. So I'm thinking maybe of doing like an earlier live, like maybe like in the morning or something. For those of you that are on here, how do you feel about the time? It feels good. It's a good time. 9:30. Too late. Would prefer something earlier. Any to that extent? No. It's funny because it'll tell me like how many of you are here, but like that doesn't always necessarily mean there's just that many people here. I'm just warning you of that. So whatever, that doesn't matter. So let's talk about, if some of y'all don't have questions, yeah, you know what? Like honestly, I like it when it's a smaller group sometimes because like the vibe is super chill and like we could just literally talk about anything. I mean, obviously we'll get into manifestation. That's the whole reason why I'm here, to help you clarify on things on your journey, right? Like I'm always here to help if you feel like you need more. I offer services I haven't listed them underneath the lives. I will start to. I have been really lazy with my YouTube. I need to get a lot better with it. So I'm planning on making more videos. I'm planning on also doing more like courses in the near future. I'm probably gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna do a YouTube subscription yet because I don't think I can at the moment. But eventually I might start off with a Facebook group, might do a group coaching. I'm thinking about doing that, but 9:30 is good. Yeah, I felt like 8 o'clock was too early. Like last week when I jumped on at 10 o'clock, like everybody was on, and I was like, okay, like there's something here, right, to the late night. Like I think people would rather jump on later in the evening. 9:30 is good. Yeah, maybe we'll do like 9:15. Hi, Jackie. I'm so glad you read it. Hi, Kim. Hi, Johanna. Hi, Denise. That's so amazing. So I can see all your little comments. I need to set up my computer. That's another thing I need to do. Because I can see the live on my laptop, and I would rather do it from my laptop, but it's happening from my phone because I haven't, like I said, I've been so busy, guys. I'm not joking with you. Like, I'm in school, I'm taking a course, I'm in school, getting a certificate, I'm doing a certificate program that I manifested the scholarship for, and then I've got a million other things going on. But I love it because I see myself morphing into this, like, the person I've always wanted to be. Not that I haven't been her or been becoming her, but it's like this new, cool, like, extended version. Yeah, I kind of like this time too, Amanda. I think this seems to work. Okay, so let's get into what's a topic you guys want to talk about? Is it money? SP is always a hot topic, let's be really honest. It is our true subconscious mind doesn't hear the word not. I don't believe that. So, okay, so I don't believe that. Hold on, I'm gonna turn off the volume. I like opening up my laptop so that way I can see the questions from here, so I'm not like squinting on the phone. And then you get to see like my little nose squint. Like I do that when I smile. Been doing that since I was a kid. Okay, so hi Jackie, hi Amanda. Okay, is it true that our subconscious mind doesn't hear the word not, or it knows what we are intending? It knows exactly what you're intending. That's just a belief. So you're gonna hear that with a lot of law of attraction coaches, and I'm not here to hate on law of attraction coaches, because there are some law of attraction coaches that I think are phenomenal. Like, I did really like Bob Proctor. Like, I thought he did a good job explaining things, but he didn't understand everyone as you push out, and he didn't believe that you can put a face on a person. And like, that's bullshit, because if you can change the way someone treats you, of course that applies to a specific person, but that's a conversation for another day. So the other bullshit you'll hear is like the word not, the word no, the word, what is it? Can't, like the universe doesn't hear it or something. It's whatever you think. Okay, so if you fear that your higher self, the universe, can't hear it, then you will mistakenly manifest. So for you to have heard that message, on some level, you have a fear that you can mess things up in your manifestation, okay? So you just want to start trusting that whatever feels right to you, whatever words, verbiage you use is fine. Don't fall into this trap of like, oh, it hears everything except these words, or everything, do you see what I'm saying? Or it's the same ideology of like, I can only manifest when the moon's rising in Venus, or when Mercury is going in retrograde. It's that same limiting belief, like everything works except this, but that's only because you believe it, okay? So maybe for that person, that feels to be true. Listen, if you want to go by, it's your reality. I'm not here to knock anyone, but I will call out a limiting belief if someone asks me about it, or if, someone wants perspective on it, which obviously, Jackie, you wanted. Just remember, like, it's your reality, your rules. So if that resonates, cool, but why would you even do that to yourself? Like, don't limit yourself. Fuck that. Money screw up, SP talk, they all come back. They really do. Okay, so, well, you have a belief they all come back, right? So remember, not everybody's I have friends that are like, oh, I've never heard, like, I haven't seen my ex in years. Like, they never come back to me. I always had a belief that they always came back. So every man I have ever dated has always come back, like, in such weird ways. Like, I think last year I had gotten a ticket and I had to go to court, and he wasn't exactly a boyfriend, but it was someone I had dated a very long time ago. And it wasn't long, it was like a month or two. And I honestly hadn't thought about this person in forever. Like, I think I was kind of reminiscing of my life, like in my early, like when I just turned 19 or 20, because that's when I dated him briefly. I think I thought about him in like a passing thought, like, oh, wonder how he's doing. Like, right? Like, it wasn't anything like I wanted communication or to see him. And I walk into court and he's standing at the freaking, what's it called? Like, as we're checking in, because in Illinois you have to like check in. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, and I haven't seen this guy and he's staring at me. Clearly he's still very attracted to me, because why the hell wouldn't he be? Some hot shit. And he's staring at me and he's like, hey, how are you? And he's just staring like he saw, like he won the lottery. And I'm just like, you have won the lottery, buddy. But, you know, I said hello, but I was just like, damn, like I was laughing about it. That's how powerful we are. Like, I had no resistance to it, right? Like, I didn't go looking for him, but that's happened to me many times where like an ex or somebody I used to date comes to mind, and then I just run into him out of nowhere, and I'm just like, whoa. Okay. Let's look. There's a few other things. Hey, I affirm as though it's already happened. Will it work? Sure, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. So some people will say it doesn't matter if you're affirming it's gonna happen or you affirm that it's already here. It kind of depends, okay? So you don't want to get into the state of it's gonna show up, it's eventually gonna show up, because I feel that can keep us, right? Remember, everything has a state. There's a parallel version of you. This is where I think some people do get stuck. So I don't 100% in this ideology that like, knowing that it's coming is fine, but you don't want to stay in that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you can trust that, but people sometimes, unfortunately, and I've seen it with clients, I've seen it with myself, sometimes we get stuck in the state of thinking that it's going to come or it's not here yet, but that's usually when people are really caught up in 3D circumstances. It's very different if you just have like a passing thought, like, of course it's mine, it's done, it's coming. Like, that's a very different energy than, oh, it's eventually gonna come, it's coming, it's gonna come, you know what I mean? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, one is like being fixated on things coming, and another thing is knowing it's coming, it's done. Like, they both have two very different energies. I know some coaches will not agree with me on this, but I think a person who makes, and I quote him a lot because I have mad respect for him, Tom Karen from Be Something Wonderful, he says this a lot too, and I 1000% agree with him, because we think that thinking it's going to come, or that we're manifesting, or that it's going to happen keeps us stuck. So I would say the best thing you could say, it's starting to happen right now, or it's beginning to happen, and I'm seeing, you know what I mean? It's better to think like that. You know what? Just act as if it's already here. Honestly, I think it's best. And for some people, it does work to say that it might be coming, but a lot of people fall into the state where it's going to happen, and then they get stuck in it's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, everything doesn't apply to everyone because all our beliefs are different. But, you know, like I said, I think it's best to just go to the end. And it's best to go to the end by acting as if it's already done. Like, I'm glad we've been together for a long time, like it's past tense, or that it's actually happening right now, or that it's already yours, right? You could say like, we're talking and we're getting back together, very different, right? Like, that's a very different energy. But here's the thing too, if you don't like something I say, use your best judgment. I just don't want you guys to get stuck in a state of it happening, because it's happened to me. I'm just telling you from personal experience. There's been a lot of times where I'm like, it's happening any day now. I'm getting engaged any day now. And guess what? Any day now turns into months. And sometimes there's been points where it's like turned into a year. And I'm like, yeah, no. So, you know, you got to remember you manifest the state that you are. So don't embody a state of it happening. Manifest the state where it's happened, or it's already it's happening now, or it's already happened. Do you see what I'm saying? You could have this belief like we're in a relationship and we're talking about getting engaged, or we're talking about marriage. You could do that too. I think my opinion is better to do that. Like I said, some people can have success with like any day now, any moment now. That's a different energy too, right? Like, you just know it's done. But I think it's always best to be the version of you that already has it. It's just my opinion. Because unfortunately, some people do fall in that little trap. I know that's not exactly what you asked, but I still think that's important. But I think you're right. Yeah, I affirm as though I already have. It's happened. Perfect. I mean, affirming is as past tense is great. It implies you have it. Honestly, another thing we don't talk about enough, and I need to make a video about this, and I've talked about this on the last 2 lives. I literally need to go back and watch my last lives because I had such great ideas. Gratitude. People underestimate gratitude. I've heard coaches say gratitude's bullshit. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. Gratitude is the state of you having it. Because think about it. When you are grateful for something, what does that imply? You have it. So start being grateful. Like, one of the best books, I don't have it in front of me right now. I'm probably going to do a YouTube on it, meaning maybe we could do a practice with it once I don't have so many things going on. This secret, so Rhonda Burns wrote a book, and I like this book because there's no limitations in this book, meaning it is from a law of attraction perspective, but it's more from law of assumption. It's called The Magic. If you don't have it, go get it. It is one of the best books that teaches you how to live in the end and be in a state of gratitude and be that version of yourself. It's like, honestly, anytime I've ever used it, I still use it till this day sometimes. I'll do it. Like, I don't think I've ever made it to day 30, but I've made it to like day 20, 25. One of the best books you could use, if you use this book in like conjunction with everything else, I promise you shit's gonna manifest a lot faster for you. This book is like, it makes you just be grateful and it makes you be like happier. Like, listen, this isn't about being happy 24/7. Like, I know some coaches will say like, oh, you know, you don't have to be happy. I agree. You don't have to be in order to manifest, but think about it. If you're in an energy of feeling like shit, things are going to be tougher. You are going to come up against resistance. When I have bad days and shit starts going like left and right, when was it? Like the other day I got into a little bit of a funk and like all this weird stuff started happening. Like I had like a little bit of like a argument with a family member and like just weird stuff was happening. Like this lady was really rude at the grocery store and I was like, I'm in an energy. And like I shifted out of it. And after that, I was feeling a lot better. Remember your state, who you're being, right? If you're the version of you like, ooh, people are mean. And you know what I mean? If you're that energy, you're gonna get more of that. Okay, so let me go back to howdy. Hi, Floor. So great to see you. Maria, I'm seeing the opposite. Ugh, it's been passing me off, lol, that everyone, hold on, I got more messages. You know what's funny? It starts out so quiet in the beginning. Some of y'all will not talk, and then it's like, just like you guys really get into it, and I appreciate that. That's usually how it starts. Okay, Maria, I'm sitting in the opposite. Ugh, it's been passing me off, lol, and then everyone else is getting my manifestations. What do you mean everyone else is getting your manifestations? So, Floor, I love you. I've seen you. I've known you for a while now. I get it. Like when you're in that state of like, it's just not happening. You're in a state of it not happening, right? It's happening to everyone else. Why not just trust that because you're emanating that, right? Like everyone else is getting what they want, that's your bridge, that's your sign, right? Like that, just think about it. If everyone else is starting to get what you want, you're in that energy. But if we're looking, the 3D doesn't mean shit. The 3D is trash, guys. Literally, it's a dumpster fire. Like who gives a fuck what happens in the 3D? Stop looking to your 3D to tell you what's possible for you and stop using your 3D to tell you that it's not happening. Because a lot of times, things sometimes have to rearrange. Sometimes shit's gotta go left in the 3D in order for you to get what you want. Stop giving it so much meaning. Give it a better meaning. Be like, this is what I want you to start doing moving forward. I swear to God, and it works really well, and I've done it in the past. Anytime anything bad happens, anything, just like, that's just working in my, everything's working in my favor. Just be like, that just means it's done. That just means it's mine. If you're going to give it a meaning, why not give it a good one? It becomes whatever you think anyways. Just be like, that just means me. And you know what you should do? If you're whatever you're manifesting, use it like whatever, like even if it's shitty shit, right? If we're living from the end, we don't want to be like, oh, that means it's gonna happen. Why not just say that means me and my SP are gonna live to be 103. That means me and my SP are gonna have phenomenal sex. That just means me and my SP are crazy in love with each other. That just means SP is gonna be committed to me for life. Do you see what I'm saying? Make it into like a fun game. Fuck 3D. Fuck 3D. Fuck 3D. Fuck 3D. I will say it again if I have to. I'm not a big fan of swearing. I've gotten a little bit better, but y'all know me because it's just in my nature. I don't know if I could stop swearing if I wanted to. Okay, so yeah, you need to create a new self-concept floor because you still have this belief that things aren't happening for you and that you're not doing things right, right? Why else would we doubt our manifestation? It's this belief I'm not doing enough, or things aren't happening for me, or nothing ever happens for me, or I never get what I want, right? So you need to create new beliefs. I always get what I want. I get what I want fast. And come on, guys, why are we doubting our manifestations when there's already a version of us that has it? It's literally done. The work has been done. There's nothing to do other than train your mind to go there when you think about it. Literally, that's all you got to do. Train your mind to go there. Train your mind to go there. Try. Anytime I've been disciplined and really get real with myself, I'm telling you, that's why I tell you guys, it's a decision you got to make. It's who you got to embody. You got to be that person now, and you be that person now by embodying the state of you that already has it by going to the end, going to the end, going to the end. I don't care. If you're triggered, feel it for a second, let it go, and then move on. And if you don't like feeling your feelings, that's fine too. Just go to the end, go to the end. This doesn't mean you fight what's happening, right? You observe it. You're like, oh, that's the old me. It's the old version talking. That's okay. That's the version of me that has dementia, or not dementia. I don't want to say dementia. That's the version of me that has amnesia and forgets who they are, because that's literally what's happening when you're giving power to circumstances or things outside of you. It's just a reflection. It's more of an echo than a reflection, but that's a conversation for another day. I had a big realization about echoes recently, and I need to make a video about it. Like I said, I have all these ideas that I know would do great videos, and like, I've just had so much going on. And I've said that a lot, right? So I need to stop affirming that. Okay. Let me see. Great. I affirm that my SP kissed me. Will it work? Why not just imagine that you're in a relationship and he kisses you all the time, or that they kiss you all the time? Neville talked about I did not climb a ladder. That's why I get confused by this. Thank you. So Jackie, we're talking about two different things here. You're talking about I did not climb the ladder, right? And then you eventually climb the ladder. Have you done that actual example? Have you done it? And then we'll go from there. But you got to remember, he's fixated on it. Here's another thing I want to tell you too. The word not, I don't think matters. Meaning, like, I don't believe that my subconscious doesn't hear it. I don't believe that personally. But you have to also remember, if something triggers you, you shouldn't do it. Okay? So to that extent, I forgot to bring this up earlier, so I'm really glad you brought it up. Let's say you are like, I'm not going to think about the pink elephant. I'm not going to think about the pink elephant. I'm not going to think about the pink elephant. What's most likely going to happen? You're going to think about the pink elephant, right? It's almost like a third party. I'm not going to think about the third party. I'm not going to think about the third party. I'm not going to think about the third party. A lot of people think about when they're trying to send the third party away, it's the same thing. That they're actually sending them away, but in reality they're not, because they're hyper-focused on the third party still being there. Do you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like counterproductive for some people because they can't separate how they feel. In order to be able to like send them away in that aspect, you got to be like mentally really strong and not get triggered by it or hyper-focused on it. That's why we always tell you to focus on the solution. So in that aspect, yes, if you're focusing on something you don't want to do, you could potentially do it, but I would not argue that the word not isn't the reason why. It's because you're trying to stop yourself. So I think when Neville did that, it wasn't to fixate on words. It was to help you realize that if you fixate on something too much, you're going to do it anyways. Do you see what I'm saying? You know when people are like, I'm not going to buy this course, 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 and then they end up buying it, right? It's kind of like the same idea. Like you've put it into your head so much that you like programmed your mind into it because it's not that intense. But it's not like, I don't know if you get where I'm coming at with this, but like there's two different ways to see this. And I get your point, but it's different for everybody. Here's the thing, I can't tell you that the way I manifest is gonna be exactly the way you manifest. Absolutely not, that'd be impossible. You think that all of us here all manifest the same way? Do you think we all have the same beliefs and all the same experiences? Absolutely not. Do we share commonalities? Absolutely. But I haven't walked in your shoes. I don't know what resonates for you. Do you see what I'm saying? I would say, I think when Neville, this is my interpretation, that when Neville did that, it was to help you understand that focusing on the problem won't get you the solution, right? It's kind of the same thing, like there's no third party, there's no third party, there's no third party. What's going to happen when you're telling yourself that? Third party, third party, third party. Do you see what I'm saying? But if you're just saying, I'm not stupid, or I would say when you're trying to fix a solution, saying not is probably not beneficial if it's something that triggers you. Because you think that getting rid of the third party is actually gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you think by doing this with a third party when in reality it's keeping them there. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it's different with everybody, but I don't agree with the word, that the word is not heard. It depends on what your intent is. Do you see what I'm saying? When you say a statement, what is your intent behind it? Is it like, because think about it, if you're having an inner conversation of, I'm not going to be that, I'm not going to be the loser, I'm not going to be the loser anymore. I'm not going to be the person that doesn't win. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to get what I want. Does that mean that you're going to lose? No. You're just saying, I don't want this anymore, and now I'm going to be this. Like sometimes people do that when they give themselves pep talks, right? Like, I'm not last place, I'm first place. Does that trigger you? That doesn't trigger me. Like I said, the most important thing whenever you're using a statement, if it triggers you, then don't do it. If you don't like using the word not, there's many ways to not use the word not, right? I think he meant it in the fact of not to hyper-focus on something, because then you're going to manifest it. That's how I see it. Because Neville had you do it as an experiment on purpose. I'm not going to climb the ladder. I'm not going to climb the ladder. What are you actually thinking? You're not thinking I'm not. You're thinking ladder. And then you end up climbing the ladder. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's different ways to interpret that. Like I said, no two coaches are going to see that exactly the same way. Let me look. Hey, I feel so disconnected when I get in my head, Jacqueline. Like I feel like my 4D is so real and I find myself waiting. I just want to stop this mind game feeling and feel secure and fun. So what do you feel that you're doing that gets you stuck in your head? Because there's something that you're doing that's getting you stuck in your head. Because right here you're saying, like, I feel like my 4D is so real. Meaning like when you live in the end, it feels really real. And a lot of people feel that too, which is awesome. I just want to stop this mind game feeling and just feel more secure and fun. So you have this, I think what happens, and I think, and this is what I'm interpreting from your question and what you're saying, is that when you're there, you feel it, you feel good about it, it's like it's done. But then when you get back to your life, you're waiting for it. But what does waiting for it mean? It implies that you don't have it. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have this belief that you have to wait for it, that it's eventually going to happen. And then you're like saying right here, I just want to stop this mind game feeling and just feel secure and fun. So why not just create a self-concept where everything is secure and fun, even manifesting? Because it sounds like it feels like a chore. Do you see what I'm saying? Manifesting is not meant to feel like a chore. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be like, imagine yourself walking into like an ice cream shop, right? and you're like, oh my God, there's vanilla, there's double chocolate, there's marshmallows, there's mint chocolate chip, there's cookie dough, there's chocolate fudge. I mean, now they have like crazy flavors like lavender with graham cracker, like lemon zest with sorbet, and like a million other ones, right? Maybe you got gelato to the left, so you got like Nutella gelato and Oreo gelato and all this, right? Like all these flavors. Think about it, when you're living in the end, you're tasting that flavor and then you become it. You're in that experience. It's the same as like when you're eating ice cream. There's different things, right? Like, so right now you're in this, do you feel delusional like when you're living in the end? So the reason people like feel that way is because A, they have a self-concept that either things are not working for them, right? Like, and they have this belief that they have to wait for it, which you got to get out of that feeling too, because there's this belief that you're not doing enough or it's not working. It kind of all mixes in. Or there may be a disconnect, right, from you living in the end. Do you see what I'm saying? Or maybe you feel delusional about the idea of you living in the end. Maybe you're like, yeah, I like being in my imagination, but it doesn't feel real. Like, it feels great, but it's like, how's it going to happen, right? So if you answer that, I'll be able to answer your question. So think about what I just said to you, and then we'll go from there, okay? What to do when manifesting an SP but feeling jealous and resentment towards happy couples? Okay, I spiraled this weekend when I was at a wedding. Okay, so if you're feeling, this is something I recommend to people, and I know some people are like, are gonna tell me like push back on this, and I'm not saying you have to do it, Emma, but this is where you're feeling jealous and resentment because you feel lack. You don't feel like you're one with your manifestation, right? It's like why do they get that and I don't, right? It's this, what they have that I don't, right? So you have a belief probably that they have something that you don't. That usually comes from a self-concept of I'm not good enough. They have something that I don't. I can't make relationships work. Nothing works out for me. I'm never happy, because you just said it here. You need to work on a self-concept of you're worthy of having a relationship, that you are enough. You're important, that things work out for you, that you always get what you want. That you're, if it's like, you should feel like I'm the person that people envy. Flip it. Right? When it's like you're envying someone else, be like, no, people envy me because I have what they want. I have the perfect relationship. Turn it into a story. Why not just be like, you know why nothing worked up until now? It's because I had to become the best version of me. And now everyone's envious of the relationship I have because I have my ideal perfect relationship. I mean, why not use the past to your benefit? That's how I would look at it. But yeah, you want to change your self-concept about that. And then on top of that, Emma, I would say take a break from manifesting your SP. I'm not saying take a month off, take a few days off. Focus just on self-concept and things that bring you joy. Buy that magic book that I just talked about and see how shit will change. I'm telling you, sometimes it's just giving it a break. Like, especially when you're not the version of you that can exist. I don't want to say when we're coming from that energy, we're not the version of us that can manifest. And it's not that you can't shift into the version of you that can. Of course you can, but you need to become it first, right? It's kind of hard to juggle both. Not that you can't, you definitely can. But I would say take a week off, take a break. Like, if you go to the link in my bio, I have a whole podcast on why taking a break is like one of the best things you can do, I think, when you're feeling that much resistance. And I would say do it for like a few days up to about a week and see if that resets your energy. Sometimes it's good to do a reset, take a break, and then come back and try to manifest it, okay? I wouldn't say try, manifest it, right? Living in the end. It could be because it's a holiday too. Honestly, holidays, I know that for myself, sometimes like holidays have been triggering when I was alone, like when I didn't have my SP. I'm in no contact with SP. That would make sense. I'm just venting, lol. I know it's not me sticking to a story. Guys, here's one thing I want you to really get, okay? And I mean no disrespect when I say this. Why are you venting? And I get that you get frustrated. It's fine. But here's the thing. If you're feeding more into that story, you're giving it more power and essence. That doesn't mean you can't change it in a second, right? Absolutely you can. You have every second of every moment is a new opportunity. But sometimes we think venting is going to make us feel better, but in reality, we're just sticking with that story, right? It's best to just drop the story. And if you're feeling frustrated, that's okay. Just like do your best to drop it. It's where focus goes, energy grows. Like I stand by that. I think when Tony Robbins says it, he says where focus goes, energy flows. I say grows. Where focus grows, where focus goes, energy grows, whatever. Which is true, right? Where your focus is what you manifest. If this has been your predominant story for a long time and we're trying to create a new story, even when you're trying to create a new story, if you dabble back and forth, that's okay. But if you have a lot of emotion about it, you're going to teeter-totter back towards that. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not that you can't have those moments. You're human, right? We only have to be in the story 51% of the time. But I do think it's important that you don't vent, because then we think, here's the thing, a lot of you will be like, oh, I'm just venting this once, but a lot of you are not just venting this once. You're talking to your mother about it, you're talking to your best friend about it, you're talking to your manifestation buddy about it, and then you're going into other people's groups and saying the same thing. Me too, I don't know why, but it's been 6 months and they're still not here. Do you see what I'm saying? A lot of times we think venting is harmless. And while I will say it is sometimes you're human and you just need a moment to let it out. Then do it for a minute. Do you see what I'm saying? But try to make sure you're not doing it repeatedly, because if you're doing this on my live and another person's live, then it's a habit. A lot of us underestimate the habit and we think it's harmless. And a lot of times those harmless, what we think is harmless habits is actually keeping that state alive. Do you see what I'm saying? So to the best of your ability, of course you're not going to be perfect at this. And of course you're going to have bad days. And of course you're going to have like maybe a shitty week or maybe even a shitty month. It's normal. It happens to people. But when you snap yourself out of it and you can remember, when you think about the relationship that you want, live in the end versus being that. Because remember, you're only giving life to it. You're breathing into it. You're keeping it there. Don't you want to breathe life into what you want? Honestly, that's part of the reason why I have not started a Facebook as long as I've had social media. I've been on TikTok for over 2 years now. I've been coaching tons of people. I've coached hundreds if not thousands of people at this point, okay? In the closer to, I don't know the exact number, I don't check, but I've coached a lot of people. Meaning I've been around this. And I've been in these communities now for like 6 years. Meaning like before I actually started my channel, I knew about Neville for like over 4.5, close to 5 years. I wasn't one of those people that knew about Neville for 6 months and then started my channel. Absolutely not. I wanted to make sure, and plus before that, I had a lot of experience with manifesting, right? Like I knew about law of attraction. I had manifested multiple exes back. I knew this to a deep core. And I'm telling you that when I first started on my journey, and I'm not saying this to hate on anyone's group, but one of the things that bit me in the ass the worst was manifestation buddies and complaining in groups. Because I was guilty of it. I was human. Okay? I would go and sometimes be like, right? Like everyone does it to some extent. But you think that's manifesting, that's not manifesting. That's keeping your state alive. It is, you are, well, the truth is, even when you're complaining, you're manifesting, right? Let's be honest. And I'm not here to shame you or make you feel bad. That's not the point of this, okay? But this is to help you guys remember that sometimes what we think is harmless habits is only keeping the state alive. If you're catching yourself doing it in the middle of it, be like, you know what? No. I don't know if you guys noticed, but sometimes when I speak, like, what did I say earlier? I think I was like, oh, my Spanish used to be really great. And I was like, no, my Spanish is phenomenal. I'm completely fluent. I speak better Spanish now than I did before. Because everything we're focusing on is only creating more of our story, right? And remember, if that story is really dominant, even if you give it a little bit of air, you're keeping it there. That's why it's important to give the other story air, right? Like it's like two balloons. Imagine your old story is like a huge inflated balloon, and then your new story is really little, right? What do you think happens when you breathe life into this balloon, right? The old story. It stays there. It gets a little stronger and it stays there. But if you're only breathing into this balloon a little bit, then it's right here. But 51% of the time, we need to be that person, right? So this balloon's big, and then we, live in the end a little bit, live in the end, and then we go back to this story. Which one's gonna win? If this is 30% of the time and this is 70% of the time. Do you see what I'm saying? But if you stop engaging with this story, it's just repetition. This doesn't mean that you can't get triggered and you don't have bad moments. We're all human, right? It's about persisting and just dominantly focusing on it. What happens when we stop giving this reality life? It's gonna start to lose helium, like any balloon, right? And then you're gonna live in the end, you're gonna live in the end, and this is gonna grow stronger and this is gonna die out. You're gonna live in the end, you're gonna live in the end, you're gonna live in the end, and what happens? You're now 51, now at this point, you're like 90% living in the end, and the truth is after you hit the 51% mark, it's gonna happen anyway. You're in this dominant story, and this story has died. Do you see what I'm saying? But you're still gonna have doubts here and there. That's not gonna mess anything up, but that's why it's important. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like your muscle gets a little bit stronger each time you do it. And like I said, you're gonna have slip-ups, you're gonna have moments, totally normal. And I know some of you think that I had someone recently tell me that I'm only saying that you guys are messing up. Not at all. I'm an Abdullah, I'm a door slammer, meaning like I want you guys on point, meaning I want to steer you in the right direction because I don't want to keep you going in those stories because I know what happens when you do that. I did that for years and sometimes I didn't get things that I want and I delayed things happening in my life. And I don't want you to go through the same thing that I did. That's why I use the tough love approach. Okay, so let me look into this because I really went on a tangent there. And I want you guys to think of it from that perspective. Like I said, this wasn't to tear you down. And I know you said you were venting, that's fine, but promise yourself you're not going to vent anymore. Make a promise to yourself on this live, I'm done engaging with that story. I guarantee you, if you make that promise to yourself, your 3D reality will change fast. That's the difference between someone who gets something within a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, versus someone that takes months and years. Because the habits we think habits are like, I don't know how to explain it, are harmless, and a lot of times they're keeping it alive. We don't realize it, right? Because we do it so much. Okay, is it okay to manifest a kiss from my SP? We already talked about this. Our SP, hold on, I think I skipped something. Right, SP ready, and for affirming in the end is pretty good. Sammy gave me that in affirmation a year ago. SP is ready. What do you mean by that? Mean ready to be with you? Yeah, that's a great affirmation to have. SP is ready, especially if you don't think your SP is ready. Why not just believe you and SP are ready together and is ready for the next adventure? SP is ready to marry me. Let's say you want a relationship. Why not just believe SP and I are together and now he's ready to move in with me? Or SP and I are living together and he's ready to propose to me. Or SP and I are engaged and he's super ready to marry me. Or SP and I are married and SP is now ready to have a child with me. Step it up a notch. Why not? Especially if it doesn't trigger you. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm happy to hear Sammy gave you that affirmation. She's a great coach. She's good at what she does, and I like that she has a no nonsense, no bullshit attitude about it. I love that about her. I love how blunt she is. I love Sammy. She's a very, very good person. Okay, let's go to this. Needing to gain clarity about whether or not I should manifest a new person or current XP. How to gain clarity. Okay, Emma, here's a good question. Why do you feel you need to change SPs? Is it because you've lost interest, or is it because you think it's not possible? Because sometimes people give up on their SP because they think it's impossible. But here's the thing, here's the truth too. If you think you're settling and that's not what you really want, it's okay to manifest someone new. Why the fuck not? Listen, sometimes it's easier to bring someone in new because you got no stories about them. But remember, if we don't change our self-concept, then we're just repeating patterns with our self-concept. And then it ends up being the same shit anyway. So my question to you is, what is your motivation? What are you trying to gain clarity on? What about that? Answer that and we'll dive deeper into that. I think it's weird how I went on one date with this guy and he ghosted me, but I'm trying to manifest him back. And I've been seeing and meeting new people with that name. That's awesome. That's your bridge. That's because it's in your consciousness. So if you want to go out with this guy again, just imagine that you're dating him. Be like, he's make it annoying. Be like, oh, he's so annoying. There he is. There's Keith calling me again. I've done that with guys. It's so funny. It works really well when you do that, because it's almost like this, there he is again calling. There he is again, like blowing up my phone. I have a friend, I will never say who she is. So she did something kind of smart. She had an insecurity. We're very close friends. I knocked some sense into her, and now she is giving birth to her baby at any point, and she's very happy in a relationship. Like I said, I will never say who the person is, but one thing I will say is that she chose someone that worked well for her. She had this energy of what she wanted the commitment from him to be like, right? Like how much he contacted her, how much he would spend time with her. And he's one of those guys that just wants to be with you all the time, right? Like that's just his energy. And that's what made her feel great. So remember, if you want to manifest things to be a certain way, there's nothing wrong with that. So do it, like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if something makes you feel secure, that they're calling you more, whatever, don't let anyone ever make you feel bad about that, because sometimes that could be the key to you getting what you want as well. So why not just flip the script and be like, you're the one blowing him off. You're the one ghosting him now. I mean, it's not about punishing anyone, but I'm not for that bullshit. But like, why not just believe he's always blowing you up and driving you nuts? Watch how fast that shit turns around. Just my opinion. I got brave this last week and gave a dude my number. Congratulations, Laura. That's awesome. You're so funny with your emoji. And I never knew people with that name. Well, then that's your bridge, my love. But I wouldn't even say that's a sign. That's a sign you're already in the state, meaning that it's already done. So just trust that. Remember, don't go looking for signs. If the signs show up, great. That means you're in the state. That means it's here. That means any second now, right? Pissing me off, haha, I misspelled. I love you so much, thank you. Aw, thank you, yes, oh my gosh. I'm done being in the state of not having it, yes. I really went up. I know sometimes I can really get on tangents, but I feel like there's certain things that can really help you guys, and that's why I really get on it sometimes. Use rage to affirm. Absolutely, why not? You can use rage to affirm. If you're pissed off, you're like, fuck this, I'm mad, you know what, fuck this, I'm not gonna tolerate this anymore. I've done it. I've screamed at the top of my lungs while driving. I've screamed at the top of my lungs while walking. Sometimes I've screamed into a pillow. Anyway, at the end of the day, we're all human. I'm not trying to be anything else other than human. I've had people be like, oh, you forgot that, you're a coach. And I'm like, okay, great. Yeah, sure, I'm human too. Like, I mean, no one's telling you not to be human, you know? So I think if it's going to help you, that's fine. Use rage. Why would you even call it rage? I would call it excitement. But yes, you can use frustration to manifest. I've used it before. Ooh, rage can be a motherfucker. Let me just tell you that. A while ago, I won't say with who, but this was years ago. I was really mad because I was trying to manifest someone back in, but I didn't understand everyone's you pushed out. And I was hyper focused on a third party for like years. And like that person was stuck there for years. And I remember one time I found out that they like upped the level of the relationship, meaning they were getting more serious. And I was devastated. It was like they were getting engaged and I was pissed. And we're talking like really pissed, like livid. So what do you think I did? I was mad and I was like, they are not getting married. So I lived to the end of, I mean, I don't recommend this approach, but I kept imagining them breaking up for like 3 or 4 days. And little to my knowledge, and but this is where I caution people if they ever do this. This is not what I recommend, okay? I was really pissed off, so I used that energy to like, you know, break them up. But I only did this for like a week, and then I never thought about it again. Like, I literally wouldn't even let him get into my mind. And I think, like, from what I was told, about a week or two later, they broke off the engagement and, like, never talked to each other again. I think they were back and forth for a little bit, but they were, like, done. I don't recommend going that route, like, unless you have a really strong mind. Because when you're focusing on the third party, what are you doing? You're creating more of it. But at that time, I was really pissed off and I was annoyed. And I didn't know everyone's you pushed out. I didn't know law of assumption. So I just did it in my head, you know, like kind of in a way to like be like, and I had this belief that it was going to happen, and it did. It totally did. Oh, and it was not a pretty breakup from what I heard. I mean, I would never wish harm on anyone. It wasn't like anyone hurting anyone, but it was just like I imagine them breaking up, getting in a fight, and just never talking to each other again. And to some extent, that worked. But like I said, always live in the end, because that works it out anyways. And if you're gonna fixate on them, just imagine them meeting someone better. That's the best way to do it, I think. But like I said, I didn't know all these things back then. Okay, where am I? Okay. I am manifesting my SP for 8 months now. It's been, okay, I've been manifesting my SP for 8 months now. It's taken that long because of my focus of the old story. You're aware of it. Good job. Denise, the fact that you're able to notice that is huge. Huge, okay? Great. I just get hot and cold, and I realize it's because the old story gets to me. Okay, so this is where you need to change your self-concept and become the version of you that doesn't get affected by that. So start embodying a state of someone. I don't know what the old story is, right? It could be that they're stubborn. It could be that there's a third party. I don't know. So start embodying the version of you that trusts that it's done, the version of you that's ready to manifest this in, the version of you that doesn't, you know, that feels confident doing this, the version of you that's not scared. Do you see what I'm saying? Create a self-concept where you feel chosen, where you feel wanted, where you feel unstoppable, where you know you're God, where you know that you're sexy, that you're irreplaceable, that you're irresistible. I have a whole podcast on this, and I do have one. It's called like, So You've Been Living in the End, Now What? You could look up that video if you want. It's an older video. I would say like, the problem is some of my videos are older, and I believe differently now. Not that I don't, it's not similar to what I teach now. And even my podcast about why taking a break sometimes is the best choice. I think it was like why taking a break. I need to make some new podcasts. What is a good option? I forgot what it's called. But there is a podcast on that, and it talks about how like we get really triggered and we get into our stories. You don't have to take a break if you don't want to. It's always totally up to you. But if I were you, I would focus on creating a new self-concept of being the person that can persist in that story, and maybe drop that story for a little bit and then come back to it, okay? If I've noticed, most people really have a hard time manifesting their SPs when there's a third party, because they think that they're choosing them, or that they're not going to choose their mind because they haven't up until now, right? It almost seems like the more time that goes on, the more people lose doubt, or they doubt that it's possible. So I would change your beliefs about what's possible for you, and then also start believing that this is easy. Is it possible to shift to a reality where only good things have happened between us and me and my SP? Absolutely. Of course you can. Why not just believe? So someone asked me this a long time ago, and I don't remember where I came up with this. It might have been from someone else that was, this could be from a manifestation buddy or myself. I'm pretty sure it was from myself. Why not just believe? And I know that this is possible because I know people that have done this, and I've done it myself. Just believe that your SP only remembers the good things. That's literally all you'd have to do. Be like, SP only remembers all the good things, and he or she will forget everything. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I know people that have done it, and I've done it too with a past relationship. It wasn't one recently, but it was after I found Neville. I was seeing someone for a bit, and I remember there was a point where there was some, turmoil, and I just started believing they only remember the good stuff, and they did. So yes, you can do that. What time is it, guys? Wow, it's almost 10:30. Okay, I'm gonna be on for a little bit longer, and then I gotta take care of some stuff. I want to get up really early tomorrow. And I want to get some homework done that I was supposed to do earlier, but then I went and hung out with my friend at the pool. Man, sometimes on holidays, you just want to chill. Okay, let's go back to this. Oh, I get it. I was just curious. Okay. Let's focus this week. No more venting. It's done. Why not never focus? Guys, I'm telling you, nothing good comes from venting. Just don't do it. It's a good habit to break. And if you catch yourself, don't get mad at yourself. Just be like, okay, I'm going to focus on what I want instead, right? I crashed my car, so I'll revise. I never crashed. I don't need to take action, or should I manifest it getting fixed? Okay, so you could revise that your car never got slammed into. You could. But Jackie, what's your resistance to that? Do you have a lot of resistance to it? Here's the thing, guys. It's not that you can't jump to a reality where something hasn't happened, but if you were in the car and it happened and like your car's like, let's say it's like really fucked up, you might have a hard time believing that, right? It's not that it can't be done. Anything can be done. Anything can be revised, right? Like here's a good example. Like 2 or 3 years ago, I was driving and a deer hit me. No joke, a deer ran into my car, okay? And I revised it for 2 reasons. The deer fell over and I felt awful for it. And it like was stuck in the middle of the street. And I was like, the poor deer. Like I was more concerned about the deer than I actually was about my car. Because I have insurance, right? Like I didn't want to harm an animal, even though I did nothing wrong. The animal just jumped out in front of the street, right? And I wasn't expecting it. And I did swerve. I, no joke, felt so horrible about it. I remember I ended up calling like the forest preserve in that area, and I called to see if like someone could help the deer, because in those instances I know sometimes they do rehab and help them. But I was just like, I remember after it happened, I was like, no, I'm gonna reject this. And I started revising in my head that the deer didn't hit me. I imagined that, so a lot of times what I do is I'll imagine that it just missed me, or like that it just like was standing there on the grass versus running in front of the car, right? So the funny part was the deer was sitting in the middle of the road, right? When it hit me. And I like actually pulled over at one point, like a light up, and I felt so bad, and I was like crying to the forest park guy, because I'm the kind of person that will like, I would rather get into an accident than hurt like a raccoon, okay? Come here, you little goofball. And so after I pulled over, and after I talked to the ranger, and you know, they were like, okay, we'll go check on it or whatever. No joke, guys, like I revised for what seemed like 5 or 10 minutes, like in the car, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe it was a little less, maybe it was a little bit longer. I turned the car around, I go back, and there was no deer in the road. The deer was gone. So either the deer got up, or it was like the deer was never there. Here's another, and you're not going to believe me when I tell you this. That deer hit my car like really hard. It should have left like a huge dent. Do you believe me when I tell you there was no dent on my car? None. None. I think there was like a little bit of like it looked like it had been like lightly hit. I'm trying to think, there was no damage on my car. If I'm really thinking back now, there was no damage on my car. There was no damage. Like we're talking, you know, do you guys even know how heavy deers are? There was no damage on my car. I'm trying to think, there was something next to it, but it wasn't from that. It was something else. I was trying to remember. There was no damage on my car. No damage, and the deer wasn't in the road. So yes, you can do it. But and you know what? I'll be honest with you. When I revise, sometimes it takes me days. If my mind goes back to the old story, I kind of do what you would call robotic affirming. There was something that I heard recently that I didn't like in my reality, and I have decided to go back to the root problem and revise it. And there's 2 memories I've been revising. And you know what I do? I just do it over and over and over again anytime I think about it. I just do it like on repeat. Let's say, like, for example, someone told you, let's say when you were 5 years old, your mother told you you're fat. We're saying hypothetically, I'm not saying that's what happened, right? And that first, maybe you were a little girl and you were a ballerina, and your mom's like, oh, you look fat in that. Maybe she didn't mean to say that, right? Oh, we got to take this off. And you're just like, I'm fat, right? Like, imagine a mom saying that to a little 3 or 4-year-old, right? Like that could cause trauma. Oh, I don't want to say trauma, but insecurity. Well, in essence, it is trauma, believe it or not. There's this belief I'm not good enough, I'm fat, you know, I'm not as good as everybody else. There's this insecurity around that, right? Whereas you can go back to that memory and imagine that your mom said something different. And you could even imagine that you were thinner if you wanted to. It's literally there's infinite realities, and when you're going back and revising it anyways, you're changing that memory. So now when you're thinking that you're fat, you would go back to that first memory. That's like pulling out things from your core beliefs, but that's like the root cause, but that's like a talk for another day. We'd have to do like a whole workshop on revision. But let's say you think you're fat, and then anytime you think that, you go, nope, And you go back to that first memory when you were a little girl and you imagine your mother, or maybe you imagine of you being a thinner version of yourself, like a little, not chubby, but like thinner. And maybe your mom didn't mean to say that to you, but you took it as it was like bad and shameful. And you were ashamed and you feel fat. So now you feel ashamed about your body. You would imagine your mom being like, Dorothy, oh, you look so beautiful, honey. And you look in the mirror and thanks, mommy, right? Like literally, anytime you go back to that memory, you think yourself, your mom being like, oh my God, honey, you look so beautiful. And you look in the mirror and you see your thinner self and you're like, thanks, mommy, right? Like and you would replay that in your head over and over and over again anytime you get triggered and feel fat. It's the same thing, right? That would be the root cause revision. I'm getting tired. Guys, you can tell when I'm getting tired when I get off of tangents. That would be you revising the root cause. But it could be as simple as your boyfriend saying, I don't know, you talk too much. And you could be like, oh, how dare he say that? But the truth is, he didn't create that belief. You have that belief from childhood. Someone said that maybe that you talk too much. You could just imagine and be like, baby, I love it anytime you talk, right? So anytime you think about that thing that triggers you, you'd be like, baby, I love it anytime you talk. Baby, I love it anytime you talk. Baby, I love it anytime you talk. You just play it over and over on a loop. That's what I do. That would be literally the same thing as robotic affirming. I do that sometimes when I revise. When I'm really rejecting something, I just play it on loop over and over and over and over while shopping, while doing other things, while cleaning. So you could try that. All right, but yes, it is possible to do that. And wow, I'm really on tangents today, guys, huh? What do you think? Okay, my new affirmations, I'm breathing life into everything I desire this week. Yes, I love that. I am breathing life into everything I desire this week. Yes. And Flora, you got that from me. You got that from me. Let's focus this week. Okay. My SP hurt me badly these past few months with lying to me. Okay. And he has apologized. That's great. And we talk every day, but I have these moments of exhaustion manifesting. But okay, so you think, okay, when you feel exhausted, you're doing too much, hon. Dial it back. And because I'm not sure if I can trust him. You feel that you can't trust him because you've been hurt in relationships before, guaranteed. I'm telling you, trust, when you struggle with trust, it doesn't start with that person. You've struggled with trust maybe with your mom, maybe with your father, maybe with an ex, I don't know. But you need to start believing that you can trust them, and then whatever caused you not to trust them, go back and revise that. Whatever that lie was. Just imagine that they told you the truth. Do you see what I'm saying? Go back in your mind and revise that, and then just start believing that everyone is always honest with me. Everyone's always be honest with me. I can trust the people I have in my life. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a different way to go to think about that. So give that a shot. I think a break sounds right, and I just ordered the magic book. Thank you, Marie. You're welcome. Absolutely. No problem. If you don't have any other social media accounts, how can we see coaching packages? Floor, so I do have other social media accounts. I have TikTok, I have Instagram. The link's in my bio. I'll put it underneath here. I'll put the links like literally after we're done with this live. I will go and post them. I'm really bad about doing that with the live. That's what I'm telling you. I've been really lazy with the YouTube, and I need to not be, and that's not going to be the case moving forward. And I'm probably going to hire someone to help me with my YouTube, with like SEO and all that. But that's another conversation. Well, that's a belief too, but regardless, it doesn't matter. When I get off this video, if you just go to my main page and click on any of my regular videos, it'll say book a session with me. There are packages I have. You can do emails, a lot more affordable than a call. I actually did lower the rate on my regular calling, meaning not like the full hour, heck no, because like, yeah, I lowered the price on the half hour calls because I made it half of what an hour was. Literally, that's all I did. I did lower it by a decent amount of money, so you can always book a half hour. That's way more affordable than an hour. But, you know, I don't recommend the 15-minute. I did do a 15-minute one, which no one's really used, so I might just take that off. But I do have, like, you can do the one email, or you can buy multiple emails, and that's obviously gets cheaper. People seem to like the email coaching. I mean, but then sometimes people have, but here's the thing with email coaching, just a warning. Sometimes the people that get the email coaching end up upgrading to a call because here's the truth. If you email me like a paragraph and you tell me nothing other than, oh, I want to manifest new love into my life and, it's been 3 years and nothing's happened, that's not enough information for me. There have been times where I've emailed people and been like, hey, I need more information. And I've done it again. I need more information. They're like, what do you mean? Like, isn't that enough for you to manifest out of? It's like, or to give me perspective, it's like, I have nothing to look at. There's been times where people have written me 2 paragraphs and I'm like, I have no information. They're just telling me what they want, like their goals. And it's like, well, I need to know what you were doing before and what you're doing now and what you're hoping to get in the future, right? Like I need to know a little bit of all 3. There's been instances where people have had better luck because they're not really like, I don't know if they just don't like writing it out. Emails don't work for everybody. They work for most people, but not everybody. So I guess that was the thing I was going to say. Sometimes people have to like upgrade because we're going back and forth and we're going nowhere. But yeah, that's there. Thank you so much, Maria. You're so welcome. Thanks, Flora. That means a lot. If I had a session with you, do I get a discount on email coaching? Lolly's World. Right now, I'm not giving away any discounts. Once I start like the YouTube channel, like the membership channel, which is like the thing that I'm waiting for, but it's gonna take me, I know I'll get you know what? No, I'm gonna manifest that so the thing is, I'm not technically monetized on YouTube yet, but that's also because I haven't put a lot of effort into my YouTube channel, right? Like I just recently revamped it, but I went blonde again. So I'm like, great, now I got to revamp everything again. I am planning on making courses in the immediate future, meaning like once I'm done with this course, boom, I'm making a course. Like that's like the first thing I'm going to do. Yeah, right now, unless you were part of like a paid, like once I start like a paid group, those people will get a discount on future coaching services, but I'm not offering any discount right now. No, because this is free. So not at the moment. I do sales on occasion. I'll probably I don't really do Memorial Day sales. I might do like a summer sale when summer hits. So look back in like a month. I sometimes give 20% off, but that's about that. That's like the most I give. Okay. Generally, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll feel more generous at that time. Maybe you can manifest me giving 30% off or something. So that's it for tonight. I think we're pretty much done. It's been a little bit over an hour. It's been wonderful having you all here. I will announce the live earlier. I'm going to announce the live the night before. I think would be smart, like on Sunday night or Monday early morning, so that way you guys remember. But I think I'm going to stick to we'll try 9 o'clock maybe next week. I just wanted to do it late because people were, busy for the holidays. Everyone had a lot going on, and I'm sure some people couldn't make it tonight because of the Memorial Day holiday, right? Like a lot of people have work tomorrow. So we will talk soon. It was lovely seeing everyone, and I'm hoping you manifest everything you've ever wanted and so much more, and it turns out even better than you imagined. Bye, guys. Love you. Have a great evening. Bye. And I'll put the link after I end it, okay? Bye. Bye, Amanda.